This is Unwritten Rules of the Road. I am Tosh, and we are joined today by the amazing Ty Oliver. Um, it's funny because it's like we were just chatting right before the stream started and sharing like all the mutual people that we know. So I was trying to think of how to introduce you, but I'm like the amazing Ty Oliver who plays all
No,
the instruments.
I don't know how accurate that is, but thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Oh, I love the posters or is it all the flyers and posters that you have in the background there? Is
I
that like past tours?
yeah. So I'm still a fanboy. I mean, I don't even. I still nothing's changed. I'm still putting my posters up on the wall. But yeah. So certain stores, like if I could grab like if I saw like a the flyer in the window or whatever, I'd grab. I'd be like, hey, can I have that? Like, and so yeah, that's and just bands I like. So
That's awesome. I do the same. I totally do the same. There's something really special and it never gets old when you like see your band name like on a up on a flyer and you're like, "Oh my gosh, that's me."
absolutely. And then it also, what's if the dates are on there and someone's like, "Hey, have you ever played this place?" And like, can't totally remember. I'm like, I'll be like, "Oh my god, we did. We played. There it is." Like, yeah, bam. So yeah, it's very cool. Very cool.
It's such a cool way actually to like mark a history of a place that you've been, like putting a little pin on a globe or something, you know?
100%. Yeah, and I wouldn't have gotten to do or go see like most of these places if I hadn't had these opportunities. So it's like especially special that way. I'm grabbing it. Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay. Actually, okay, I was wondering do you remember your very first live show? Like what instrument, what bands?
Oh yeah, it was horrible. Oh, there's two firsts because when I first started out, I was playing drums, um, and it was a backyard like keg party on Halloween, and like I was like I don't know, I think I was barely 21, but horrible. Dropped a stick, forgot half the song. It was just a bunch of drunk friends. But then I started like playing guitar, and I got serious about that, and that was like well into like the early 2000s, and MySpace was like the thing, and I was just doing my own instrumental music. I was like trying to be like a wannabe Joe Satriani or Steve Vai, like really hard. And this is in like the early 2000s, so it's so like out of style and just out of touch with what's going on. And especially where I grew up, and I still have long hair, and I was like trying to be all glam rocked out, and but MySpace was great because you could promote yourself like and you get this response from it, and it was crazy. I'd somehow weaseled my way into getting checking these companies a couple endorsements into getting me to come play this thing at NAM. This is
Hmm.
like 2007, early 2007, and so I've been playing for a long time. But like I just didn't have experience live. I was like the bedroom guy, and so I like I hadn't played a gig live with this band that I had and gotten sponsored already. And we go down there and we play, and everything goes great. Sound check's fine. Like 2 songs in, we're killing it. I break a string, and like so I'm not prepared for this at all. And it's a 3-piece band, so now there's just bass and drums, and I'm like panicking. I'm like, I grab my other guitar, and it's a 22 fret, and the other one was a 24. It's just total nightmare after that. And all these people like had come to see us play from like MySpace. It was a whole thing, and I like left there like with my hand like just hanging my head in shame. Like I'm done. I'm a fraud.
Oh,
It
oh no.
was, yeah, it was terrible. And like I was like, oh my God, how am I gonna like make up for that? And so my first couple experiences were rough, but then I eventually played out more and eventually had some good experiences to build that confidence and like I was able to get past it. But the first couple were fucking. I had some rough ones, man. Yeah.
I mean that is awesome that you like well, first of all, that you're honest about that. Thank you for
Oh yeah.
sharing that.
Still have some rough now. Like even up to date. But yeah, not quite like those. But yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And well, I also the fact that you just jumped back on the horse because honestly, like some people will have like those kinds of experiences and they're like, "Okay, I'm done." Right?
It was really close, but I just had this. I don't know. I was so driven. I was like, I gotta like. I know I can do it. I got to have at least one good one under my belt, and then go from there. And yeah, and so fortunately, I eventually had that good show after those disasters. But man, those first ones really like knocked my confidence like way down to where I was like you said, like I'm like I don't know if I'm cut out for this. Like I'm just not, you know. And so, but I was so diehard about it that I kept going. So
Yeah, I mean, you know, obviously you have probably spent so much time on your craft, like, by yourself, like practicing and getting ready for this, and but nothing really does prepare you for the live show.
nope, nope. And there's all these things that can go wrong. I have no idea about until it actually is happening in real time, and all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, you know. So it's like, you know, so I totally respect, the people that had already been doing it for that. Most of my buddies that I'd been jamming with like had been in bands, and like I was just always so focused on trying to do this one thing that I was like I don't want to do a cover band. I want to do my thing. And so like I would forego being in any band because I just wanted to do my one thing. So I had to learn the hard way. But yeah, they got all those experiences past them. So I was like coming in and learning them. Yeah, yeah. Nothing prepares you for what can go. What anything can and will go wrong live, and you don't even know until it's happening. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true. Because, like, as a band, when you're rehearsing, you can be as tight as you can be, right, in the rehearsal space.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah,
Next thing you know, the cable doesn't work. Your amp goes out. Who knows? So yeah, there's always some technical glitch that never happens in rehearsal, but the day of the show, boom, it's happening. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, that's all part of the fun, right?
absolutely, absolutely. Well, I feel like too, like the more familiar you are, like the more you've played live, it starts becoming not that you'll run into the same problem, but like your problem solving, I think, really starts to grow.
You get smarter about it, and honestly, that's something that I won't even. That happened in Orgy more recently. Like I had because their whole setup is so different from anything that I was like used to that I just like I learned enough to get through the first tour, and there was only a couple of hiccups on that one, like that were pretty minor, and I got through it. But mostly it was just killer. But some of those big festival ones, I learned those festivals are like rough because it's so throw and go, and like all of a sudden, like I can't get a signal, and everyone else, they're waiting on me. They're like, "Let's go." I'm like, "What's going on? Why is your guitar working?" I'm like, "I don't fucking know. It worked yesterday." Like
Yeah.
so. Yeah, so I had some rough ones with, at some of those bigger shows, like recently, where it's technical stuff, and the bass player was like, "Yeah, dude." He's like, one of the biggest things is the problem solving on the spot, is on the fly. Is like that's why you gotta really know your rig and like know your spot. And I was like, a little more used to just being kind of more punk rock about it, and just like, I know my amp, my setup, and this was like a whole new thing. So, but anyhow, yeah. So I had, it's your problem solving, like you said, is yeah, very spot on.
Yeah, absolutely. With your touring, has it taken you internationally?
Technically, I mean, no, because I've never been overseas, unfortunately, which I sucks. There was two Australian tours booked, one with Powerman, and then COVID happened, so that got canceled. And then Orgy was over there with Cold. When I was still, I'm technically not. I'm not in Orgy anymore. I left a while ago, which it's all good still. But they had this uh, Australian tour booked with Cold, who we toured with, and it was like all set. They were advertising it, like it was happening, and then like a couple months before, it just got canceled. And I can't really pinpoint why, but so it was like this close, and then just didn't happen. So, but I've done Alaska,
Wow.
and I've been to Canada. So that's as far as I've gotten with outside the states of the band. Yeah,
That's so cool you played Alaska.
yeah. Power Man. That was like one of the first like when I first joined Power Man. I did like my initial quick just run of like trial dates, and and then maybe a one off or two, and one of those one offs was a fly out to Alaska, and it was like fucking. That was one of the gigs where like everything went right, and it was packed, and like they treated us like royalty, and it was like I got to fly. You know, we flew there, and they put us up, and it was like, you know, I didn't experience anything like that. I was like, this is fucking awesome. Like, holy shit, you know. So
Yeah.
very cool. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And I feel like too, it's like I don't know, it's like not only getting to see a really cool place, but the whole experience of getting to fly into a, to a
Oh yeah.
show and
Yeah. It's like it's like would I ever have gotten to? When would I go to Alaska on my own dime? Like, you know, I mean, probably not likely. So it was like, yeah, I was like trying to soak it, you know, any of that stuff that happened. Like I've been very like aware of like how fortunate and tried to just soak it in as much as I can. So yeah.
yeah, that's amazing. It's one of the things I really love about touring. It's like the best of all worlds. Like you get to play music and you get to travel and see really cool places.
Yeah, absolutely, totally. And like go, you know, like I said, you get to hit these destination cities and stuff that I didn't even know they're on the map. You know, like if I'm so and yeah, so it's the travel part of it is awesome. I mean, sometimes it's a bit grueling, but you're playing music and like you said, traveling and it's yeah, super cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Wanted to take a second. I saw a Powerman 5000 fan in the chat. Vic Vaughn from Pensacola. Thanks for
Oh,
joining us.
ayo.
That's awesome. Thanks everyone for joining us in the chat. It's always awesome to see y'all. If you have any questions for us, by the way, drop it in the chat and I will relay it over to Ty.
Yeah, but
Um,
thank you to anyone watching and listening. Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
yeah. So, I know that you are currently you've put together a really amazing project called Raygun Romance.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. I saw that y'all had just played in December at Bar Sinister.
Yeah, so that was there's a you know if you allow me to elaborate like that initially that's part of how I met Clint in person. But I started that way back in like 2019 as just like a studio project. I had some lame demos that like I was really digging on some electronic music more and getting more into that. And I was playing with Powerman and getting my live kicks out, but I really wanted to. I wasn't doing anything creative, and like I finally like was like, you know what, I want to start something and just have like this creative outlet, and that's how that started. And it was only intended to be a studio project at the time, and I was just making music. I was just making instrumental stuff. I wasn't mixing it. I was just making these like lame, shitty demos. And then I met a buddy of mine, David Nazi, who's got a killer YouTube channel, and he's mixing and mastering like for you know all kinds of big names these days. He's way bigger than me now at this point. You know, he's way beyond helping me out, but he still does, which thank you. But and he helped me out with the original demos I did. And I was gonna put out an EP, but then I just started doing singles, and I was just hiring people to sing on it, basically, because I wasn't a singer ever. I was just an instrumental guy, guitar player guy, and so that's how Clint came into the picture because I initially put out this run of like 6 singles, and then I was like still writing and being really creative, and I was like, man, I really want to like just keep going with this, and so I just started reaching out to people that I liked and thought would fit, and Clint was one of them, and he was like the nicest dude. I've never met him, and I email him randomly out of nowhere and send him this demo, and he not only does he doesn't even he just replies with a finished song and is like, here you go, totally dig it, and he like recorded the vocals, didn't ask for any money or anything, and like and then we ended up doing a video and like and that's still you know out there and up there. So he was super cool about it. But so trying to long story short, it started as this studio thing where I was never intending on singing, but then it got to a point where I didn't want to have to chase people around anymore, and I was like, because I was always creating, I was always kind of waiting around for somebody else, and it was never their priority kind of thing. And so out of necessity, I not only started like trying to like mix my own stuff, but I started doing vocals, and like I'd never done that. And then it just sort of evolved into what it is now, which is just me doing I'm like, you know, the face in front of it. And then the live thing also never intended to do it live. And so we did that show in December at Bar Sin, and that just came out of like, again, I wasn't planning on it, but it's just we got offered the gig, and it was on the same day as my girlfriend's birthday, and it was also with like a former band friend of mine, Jay Blanche from I used to play in his band Limnus, and he knows Eric from the Bay Area from Everything Goes Cold and all that whole gang. So it was like a very the way it came together and like you know it was I was like they offered us the gig and we had plenty of time to do it to like prepare. So I was like I don't know how I'm gonna pull it off, and I'm like okay we'll do it. So and then we ended up doing it. So that was the first and that was the first gig we'd ever done with it live. So yeah, I know that was a long answer, but there was a whole lot that went into that happening. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
I think it's so cool because you've had such a journey to get to where you are, and I actually first wanted to ask you like, how do you like being a vocalist now?
I mean, because well, so I'd only ever done karaoke, but then when I started
Hmm.
recording, I was very nervous. I was like really apprehensive. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to pull this off. And then I did a cover to first start it out, which was a Goo Goo Dolls song, and I pulled it off enough to where like I showed it to people and they didn't seem to cringe. So I was like, all right, I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to try an original one now, and like it just started flowing, and like people didn't seem to have this ew reaction. So I was like, all right, I think I can do this. But I was only doing it in the studio, so I could just take my time and do a million takes and whatever. So the live thing, that was brand new to me. And like I was like, they offered us the gig like a good 6 months in advance almost. So I had plenty of time to like sit and think about it. And like I just started practicing my ass off. I mean, I just put the work in and I was like, but it was all I was thinking about. I was like, man, if I don't pull this off this time, I'm only gonna get this one chance. I'm like, if I don't pull this off, like everyone's gonna be like, this guy sucks. Like, you know, why is
Oh,
or you know, why is he trying to sing? He's a guitar player. What's he doing? I was like, I gotta do this. It's gotta be just right. You know, like so I had it in my head, I practiced my ass off, and I got, you know, had support of some good people with me live, my girlfriend on keys and vocals, and then a buddy of mine, you probably know him, Scum Love. Scum,
hmm.
he did
Yeah.
he did lights, which really helped. I got a banner. I like had the whole thing in my head, and another former Bay Area buddy of mine on keys on the other side, Kay from Suicide Queen. So they helped out, and it all came together, and it was nerve wracking, but it went off like how I'd hoped. So I haven't done it since, but I was like, I'm still feeling that one out. You know what I mean? But it was fun. I really liked it. Yeah.
I love that. I honestly, I really relate because I feel like sometimes we can get caught into sort of like roles, like where you're like, oh, I'm a guitar player, I'm not a singer, or I'm not visual, or whatever the case is, right? But like, when you're actually like starting to expand, you're like, wait a second, I'm a different artist than I thought I was.
I,
So,
yeah, and I mean, this all happened so late in the game that like I just did not see it coming, and it was like it was really exciting at first because I was like, oh my god, like I can like I can do all this stuff on my own. I don't have to rely on somebody else. At first, this is just singing in the studio with my own little laptop setup, and but live it was different because I'm like, you know, I'm a guitar player. I've always just been the guy on the side, and that's nerve wracking enough. But like now, I got to be the front guy. I got to be entertaining all the time. That was like what I was thinking. I was like, I got to like, so I can't. I'm still worried about like, you know, what do I do between like when there's no when I'm not singing? Like, what do I, you know, how do people are going to be paying attention? And I was like thinking all this weird, you know, shit going through my head. But I ended up just, you know, uh, practicing enough and getting, and it ended up being a blast. It was really cool. Yeah.
I don't know if you've had this thought because I did with the first time I just sang, but I was like, what do I do with my hands?
Yes. Yeah. And that's where I was like, okay, what works for me because you know, I just have to have a mic stand because I can like
Hmm.
at least rock out with that. But if you know, and I can do without it too. But yeah, it was just what do I do on all these? I'm like when the intro starts, like, or there's just an instrumental break, like what do I do? You know, I was like, I got to be entertaining, like I got to be cool. Yeah, totally, the whole thing. for sure.
Yeah. Well, I did not have the opportunity to be there, but from the clips I saw, it was such an awesome show, and I really hope you play again so that I can get to experience it.
Yeah, we definitely want to. I'm not sure when and where. Raygun Romance is such a it's a passion project. I do it because I love it. But it's frustrating because it takes so much to like get something to grow, and like with social media, and like you need like a team, and like I see that with like artists that their numbers blow up and whatnot, and so I tend to get frustrated and like not maybe put as much effort into it. I tend to slack off on promoting it as of lately, but I definitely want to play again. And there's new music coming, so yeah,
That's exciting.
yeah.
Yeah. When can we, is it, do you have like a day in mind, or are you still just kind of in the process of putting it together?
So there's two songs totally done. They're mastered and they're ready to go. They're on deck. I just got to figure out like artwork and like release date and video stuff, and then like I'm gonna start promoting as much as I can. You know what I mean? Do the whole cycle thing. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, that's exciting.
yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I had a day
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm gonna get to do this podcast. I should totally have this all set, and I don't. Come, and I swear to God.
Well, you'll just have to come back on.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, no, it's yeah, timing is a funny little beastie, and I think it is one of those things where, especially with art and music, it takes its own time, you know.
Yeah, of course, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, I think too, it's like you were talking about, like the marketing and the promoting and things like that, and I
Uh,
know so many people wear so many hats, so yes,
yep. Um,
yeah,
and it just I've seen just from behind the scenes is like it's to get something to really like get in people's faces and grow an audience. Like it takes like a team, like PR and management, and like not a lot, let alone have a good song that hooks people. You got to have all this push behind it. So yeah, a lot goes into it. Aside from just
yeah,
like a good song. Yeah,
absolutely, yeah.
yeah.
Well, we're getting some questions. Vic was asking what band or bands or musicians inspired you from the beginning of your playing guitar to current time.
Okay, so this is I can nail it down to a few, but it's like I've gotten this cross section of like it does not cover all of it because there's a ton. But when I first started out, like I said, I was super into like Joe Satriani and Steve Vai and all these instrumental guys from the '80s and stuff, and that's where my head was at. I was a total metalhead rocker guy starting out because it was like when I first started playing music, it was like early '90s, and so the '80s were still kind of bleeding over, and so that was my initial influences. But then over time, like I put in, I have just like a top six, five, six cross section. It's like In Excess, Angels and Airwaves, the 1975, Jesus Jones, Goo Goo Dolls, and Poison. That's like kind of covers metal, pop, alternative, and then but I like a lot of thrash and death metal and stuff when I was like younger. I mean, electronic stuff, darkwave stuff. I mean that's just a very generic cross section. Yeah.
I love that it spans like different realms, but then you've managed to like bring it all together, you know?
Mind you, it's really hard because the older I get, it's the harder it is to do that.
Um, we have a question as well from Pete, who's saying, when you gain an established group like these, when you join an established group like these, is there still a Jason Newsted-like hazing expected, or have bands become more accepting to the necessity of new members?
I would say that's probably a completely different experience because of the level of popularity that Metallica was at, or whatever. So I didn't experience that at all. And they had only really had that one member change, but no, I didn't. Everyone has been very welcoming, and like the Powerman guys, especially because like that was my initial opportunity that brought me to LA, and that's how I eventually met the Orgy guys. But everyone was nice and welcoming, and I didn't know any of these people, and they were all super just helpful and cool. And I didn't experience any of that, so no, not on my end, you know.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I mean, I think, I was wondering, like, when you first played with, was it Powerman that you joined
Yeah,
first before
yep.
Orgy? Or you said Orgy
No,
first? Or Powerman?
Powerman in
Okay.
2015 until like, I mean, technically 2022, but nobody's playing a show from 2020 until around then. But a
Yeah.
good long time, and then Orgy was more recent. That was like 2024 until just this past like fall or whatever. Yeah, so a good like a year and a half. But yeah, Powerman was a good long run. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. I'm still buds with like, we're all still in contact, and I still send stupid, memes and stuff to the drummer and Powerman and the merch guy, and it's
Yeah.
it's all good.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. Yeah, I feel like when you are in a band, it's like its own nuclear family.
Yeah, yeah, and everyone in both camps. I mean, we're very different, but dynamics, but uh, everyone got along and did their thing, and it was very professional and fun to work with, and I'm very fortunate, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, as well. I mean, after working with the groups, I imagine like as you've been discovering your own voice, like literally and figuratively, it's definitely a shift, right?
Oh yeah, huge, because like I said, that's where like I said, even especially in those bigger established bands, first joining them, it was nerve wracking, and like, but once I Powerman especially, because that was the first thing that came along that I was like, holy shit, this is like a real actual pro band, and I'm like, somehow I got this spot. I have no idea how, but that was nerve wracking. But then I gained some confidence, and then like, so jumping into Orgy like was a bit less nerve wracking because I already knew some of the guys in it, and we toured together. So, and I had enough shows under my belt with Powerman, like in touring, that I was like, once I learn the songs, I'll be fine, But when I first joined Powerman, it was like, I think I was nervous for about 6 straight months until I got like really comfortable, and then I was like, okay, I'm in.
That's a long time to be nervous.
Yeah, yeah, it was a lot. It was like, yeah, it was very green, very green.
It's funny because like I think about like a corporate job versus like a musician, and the big difference is that you're also in front of many, many people. So,
Yeah, yeah, it's I mean, a job interview can be a similar level of nerve wracking. It just depends on where your head's at and what you're looking for. But um, man, I remember those first couple. I drove down to like I got asked to come down and audition for Power Man. That's a whole story in itself. But I remember that first one, man, because I practiced my ass off, and I was like, the whole drive down, I was listening to the live set, and I'm like, oh, this part, this part, this part, blah blah blah, and just grinding it over in my head. And then like I get into this little rehearsal room, and like, suddenly there's Spider, the guy that's on, the posters on the wall on MTV, like right in front of me, and like his girlfriend, they're just sitting there watching, and I was just like, I don't know if I can handle this, man. And I totally made mistakes. I totally blew it. And I thought they were gonna not let me in, but I did well enough, obviously, that it worked out, and I ended up being in it for 5+ years. But very nerve wracking, very nerve wracking. Yeah, yeah.
I was curious actually, like how did you manage to get over the nervousness? Was it just over time that it naturally kind
Yeah.
of,
Just doing it, and then like
yeah,
having enough shows go well to where I was like, I got this, and then you start to get that confidence. Then you start to like get your stage vibe down, and like and it's the trip, because I'll go back and like look at some of the stuff from the beginning until later on, and I'm like, oh man, that was like way more rocking out like a few years in, So yeah, it was a big difference. And I'm sure it's the same thing with any, especially some of those bands that have been around for like 20 years or something. I'm sure they're, it's like probably night and day from when they started to where they are now. But oh, my point was on that last question was I think the job interview or the big crowds or whatever. It's like sometimes that smaller, intimate setting can be more nerve wracking to me than like the big festival thing because they're further away and it's so like kind of like surreal. They're not right up in your face. Like a little club, they're right there. Like you know what I mean. So that to me is like that gets me on edge more than like a big thing because a big thing they're like they're over there. I can just they're looking at this that and the other thing. There's screens. It's like so. But yeah, some of those smaller tight little situations can be put you on edge pretty hard. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, especially you can literally see like their faces and yes.
They, but if they want to, like what I mean. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Or if you know people in the audience, like if you like have friends and family, right?
And that was with that Bar Sin show. That's why that with Raygun, like I knew that people I knew were going to be there. So that's and I was like, I only have this one time to like pull this off, like without looking like an idiot. And actually, Bertan, the drummer, and his lady came. Bertan, drummer from Powerman, came, and they came to the show and supported, which I thought was so cool. So that really struck me out. But it also made me nervous because I was like, holy shit, they're right there, and they're like, I know they're going to go back and talk to the guys about it. Be like, let's see what Ty's doing now. But no, yeah. So yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's awesome though that they also came to support and
Yeah,
yeah.
I was really, really stoked on that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I imagine like with all the experience that you've had, like when you were putting Raygun together, like that you had probably a really clear idea of how you wanted the show to feel.
Yeah, and I can credit that again to um, bands like Nightclub, Imperative Reaction. I haven't seen unfortunately System Sin live. I don't. He seems like he's not very active with it live lately, but there's a couple in particular that System Sin show, or I'm sorry, Imperative Reaction show where he had the two keyboards and then singer in front. I remember just thinking it was just I was like if it has to be at least that cool. And Nightclub is just the one guy and her in front, but they've got this big light show and just such a presence. I was like, if I ever do it, it has to be at least like that, like at least close to that, and I didn't want to go up and just do karaoke by myself. Like I was like, no way. Like I got to have other energy up there and like some productions. So yeah, I definitely had like a clear picture. I was like, gotta have some lights, gotta have a couple bodies up there besides me, and I don't want it to be where like they crank my vocals way up over the music like I hear on some live performances. I was like and the guy did it just right. It all worked out like just like I'd hoped. So yeah, it went over. It went well. Yeah, for sure.
I think that's awesome. Bar Sinister is such a great place. Like I feel like it's a great community and yeah, I really love how they support the artists there.
Yeah, yeah, and then, like I've been going, obviously been going there for years, and they were super supportive. Lisa and just let us, whatever you guys need, kind of thing, and yeah, and lots of familiar faces. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. And it was great. Yeah, it was killer.
I was curious actually about the singles that you mentioned that are coming up. Is there anything that you can share in terms of any inspiration when you were putting it together?
Yeah, so one of them's new, brand new, like, but I started writing it with my lady actually like last summer. But she initially had this like melody and lyric in her head that she like sang to me on the phone, and I was at work, and I was like, I immediately started hearing like music for it, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna come home, and I started working on it, and it turned into something, it went from that into what it is now. But she helped inspire that, and then the lyrics are about some parts of our relationship, and then she did some backing vocals on it too. And then the other one It's actually a song it'd been done and sitting on my computer for like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. And she heard it and was like, dude, you got to put this, why are you not putting this out? Like, and I was like, I don't know. I just thought it wasn't that great. She's like, no, no, no. You got to, you got to make this, you got to put this out. And then we ended up playing it live too. Like she was like, pushed it that, made me feel confident enough about it to where I was like, yeah, all right. Okay. So I ended up going back. I found the original session. And I was like, thank God I got it still somewhere. And just kind of reapplied some newer mixing techniques to it. And then I handed it off to my buddy, David, to get it like a proper master. So it's an older song, but it's given, a new spin on it, I guess, a new mix and stuff. So, and it still sounds like it feels like the stuff of this, anything that I'm putting out now. So, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes like songs need to have like a little bit of a period, like a gestation period before it's ready to be released into the world, you know?
Yeah, and then the other ones you're like right away you just know you're like okay this is ready to go. And the others some of them you got to just like it's like pulling teeth, man. You're like tweaking, like I don't know, and then it finally comes to life. Yeah, so it's an interesting process for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know your music is very, very synth heavy, but when you write, do you write with guitar?
I guess no. Now I used to
Mm-hmm.
before I started Raygun Romance. Initially, that's what I did, and I did have some guitars early on in some of the early releases, like the one with Clint Carney. And and then as time went on, I just kind of just started getting less. I just was just more and more interested in having it be this electronic thing. I wanted it to be is on. I didn't want it to be grounded to like real. I wanted it to be not grounded in reality anyway. And like I felt like the guitar put it in this sort of. It made it too. I don't know. I wanted it all to just be electronic and just sort of this like other world place thing kind of thing. Yeah, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Synths make me feel that way. Like I feel like I can just kind of do anything and be creative with it. Where guitar, I feel more grounded. Like I'm in a box with it a little bit. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Like it is, I think with acoustic instruments, it's like you were saying, it has like its certain grounding.
Sure.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, and live especially too. Like I've seen plenty of electronic bands. Some can pull it off, and some others not so much. But I've seen the ones that really impressed me didn't have live drums. I mean, again, I've seen a demo of live drums in it, and it was great. Maybe like Cyclone 9 or even Imperative Reactions sometimes. But I really that was something that I was really I was like I don't want live drums. I want it to be just it, as produced sounding as it possibly can be, and I that's just the vibe I was going for. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's awesome because like you were saying like especially when you put together a production and you're envisioning like a completely different world. Like, you
yeah,
have like this vision for it.
yeah. I just want yeah, and I just was just after something. I've always really liked stuff. I'm a big '80s kid, and so I like stuff that's really that has that overproduced thing to it. Like, I mean, I can dig on some raw stuff too. Like, I mean, the '90s got really stripped down and the production got like totally different. But I really, really like stuff that's like just heavily produced and layered tracks and layered vocals and like so because that's just like you're free to just do whatever and like worry about it live later. Like with the time when I started, I was like, I'm never going to do it live, so I don't have to worry about it. But yeah, that was my inspiration was like I just want it to be this like sonic other place like that's not in somewhere you can just pick it up. You have to like go there. Yeah.
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 Yeah. It's funny. I think anytime I find for myself when I use the word never, life or the universe has a funny way of challenging that.
Yeah, totally. Never say never. Yeah.
It's true. You're like, I would never be a singer. Oh no.
Yeah. And I said that. I was like, nah, never doing this live. Who cares? I'm like, here we are.
Yeah, here we are.
And I'm glad glad I did because it's something that I definitely was like, I don't know if I can pull this off. Like, and if I can pull off at least one time, then then there could be another time, or So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What was your favorite part about the show?
Oh boy. Well, it was kind of a blur because I was so like in my head about it, but it was also my girlfriend's birthday, so we sang her happy birthday on stage. That was fun. But just the whole thing. I mean, it just went off like I'd hoped it would in my head, at least as far as what we were doing, what we brought. I mean, the place wasn't packed or anything. I mean, we're not like a headliner, but I mean, we played last because my friend requested it. But it just went off like I walked away feeling like, okay, I feel good about that. And so that the whole thing in general was just kind of like I was happy with it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, from everything you've described, it just sounds like you put so much love into it. And to be able to walk away and go, like, I put love into this and it's something I'm happy with.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, I was just like, oh man, it just as long as it can go this well, a certain level in my own head. This is just me. I'll walk away happy, and it went that well. So I was like, all right, I I'm not embarrassed. I'm proud of it. I walked away like being like, I'm proud of that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's so interesting too because you were sharing like your very first live experience where you were like, "Oh, it was quite the learning experience, you
I
know."
worried about that too. I'm like, oh, what new what new Pandora's box am I opening with like being a I don't even know. Like I'm like, what can go wrong as a singer? I'm like, the mic can go out. Who knows? Like I didn't know, and
Yeah.
I was very worried about that. I was like, shit, am I gonna have to have that same? I started thinking about that leading up to it. I was like, oh man, am I gonna have the same thing all over again? But it's gonna be, and now I'm the singer guy. Like, yeah. So I definitely thought about that for sure, but it didn't. Thank God.
Yeah. What's amazing to me, like I said, I saw some really awesome clips from your show. Um, is like I think about like sometimes I wonder if people could hear our inner dialogue, what they would
Oh
think, where
God.
you're like,
Uh, I definitely be driving some people crazy because it's all I thought about until, I mean, just at work. Before my head is just constantly like thinking about it. I'm like, what about this? What about that? What if this? I'm kind of a little like overthinker, but so yeah, you don't. It probably wouldn't be a fun ride if you're inside my head. But once we got up there and we were doing it, it was like, yeah, it was good. It wasn't like uh, I was freaking out up there or anything. I was like having fun and enjoying it. So yeah,
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 absolutely.
yeah.
I was thinking again back to the when I asked you about, you're playing, you were like, oh, the first show didn't go so great, the first couple of shows didn't go so great, and then fast forward to what you just accomplished, and again, just like getting over that inner voice, like where you're like, oh my God, what am I doing?
And it's funny because it's like even still after getting these opportunities I've had, and like again, it's surreal because I was just a fan. I was just a fan. I didn't, and so yeah, going from those early days to pulling that off, yeah, it's been a journey, and it's if you'd have asked me like back then if I thought I could do any of these gigs or do pull this off, I would have said absolutely not. So yeah, I'm very grateful. Yeah, it's surreal. It's a trip. Yeah,
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 yeah.
absolutely. And I mean, honestly, such a testament to the fact that you're like, all right, I'm just jumping in, I'm doing this.
Yeah, I mean, I had enough time to prepare. Like if it was like even a month, if it was a month, I'd probably be like, I don't know. But like we had so much time that I got to practice. And I
Yeah.
had some confidence from doing the Powerman and Orgy thing. So I kind of, you know, I believed in it just enough to where I could kind of talk myself into it, if that makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
I could talk myself. I think I can do this. I think, and I got a lot of support from my girl and friends, and like, because a couple people would come and they rehearsed with us. And I was like, okay, is this, am I kidding myself here? Like, be honest. Like, don't, you know, don't be nice. I really need you to tell me if this, we suck or what. And nobody, they all were like, no, totally. I dig it. Cool. So yeah, that helped.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I think as well, like, the fact that you have such a great group of friends and, supporters around you too. I think this music community is really about that, like our friends, and our community.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. And felt very fortunate to get the opportunity to have that first show be at Barstow, where it's like, where, what better place to do this kind of music, other than that club. And, yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, you've mentioned, a few different like dark waters, so to speak, where you jump in, you're like, okay, here we go. Is there any in the upcoming year that you're looking at that you're like, oh boy, or anything brewing in your head?
Just honestly, the thought of doing another Raygun show, because now it's like that happened. There was so much lead up to it, and then doing it, and it was like, it's like now it's been a minute, so now I'm like, oh man, I'd have to kind of like recharge the battery all over again, which is, I know, sounds ridiculous. It's one show, but it's such a new thing for me that it takes like a lot of like, it takes a lot of mental energy and but no, I mean, not as of this upcoming year. I'm just trying to get those couple songs out, play more shows. Um,
Yeah.
Nothing like booked as of right now, so I'm kind of just in cruise control at the moment. Yeah.
I think actually refilling the well is like a really huge part of the process,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
recharging those batteries.
For sure. Yeah. And that battery was like drained after that one. So I was, happy to just kind of like coast for a minute. So, but I
Yeah.
get back now. I'm like, all right, I'm getting, the itch to go out and do something again, so.
Yeah. I think sometimes it's like I think we can get into sort of like a cycle of producing things where we feel very pressured. We're like, okay, I did this thing. What's the next thing? Instead of just
Yep.
taking a moment, right?
Yeah. And I feel that way with Raygun Romance and have since the start. Like I felt like I constantly had to put something out. And that's part of that whole social media thing is like, there, and this is just my experience with it, but other artists in the genre that I see like breaking and stuff, it's like they always have content, and so I that's just on me. I'm like, man, how do I don't have the content all the time. Like I can't keep up with that. Like I'm just trying to like, it's like it's intimidating, and like, yeah, it gets to where like I constantly feel that pressure to have to like put a post out, put a clip out, do something. And I'm like, I just after a while, I kind of like, I was trying to keep up with it. And then I just didn't have, I can't just keep, I don't want to post what I ate for breakfast. I'm just not, I don't, you know, I want to put something out that's like, all right, this is the song. It's, I'm proud of it. And like, put some the quality stuff out. I don't want to do the day-to-day bullshit, but that's just me, So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely feel that the pressure for sure. 100%. Yeah.
Well, I think it's really great that you actually have a very clear idea of yourself where you're like, I just want to share when I'm ready, and that so when people engage with you, they know, I'm going to get to witness a created piece of art whenever you're ready for it.
I mean, I hope that's how people are looking at it. It's tough because it feels like if when I'm not putting stuff out, I'm losing, I'm falling off people's radar. So like that's how it feels to me. Like I'm always just kind of like, they probably forgot. So like who's gonna care? You know what I mean? Like, but um, so I'm super hard on myself about it, and I wish I could be cranking stuff out, but like it's just not. You know, even when I had ideas and I was constantly writing, when I first started singing, it was like this whole new world opened up, and suddenly I was like inspired all the time. But like, that kind of didn't phase out. It's just the well dried up a bit. So, I don't have stuff to post all the time, but when I do, it's going to be, yeah, it will absolutely be something that's important. And like, I worked my ass off on it, and like, I believe in it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to think of the fact that everybody has a muse, like, and we all have like different relationships with our muse, and inspiration comes in different ways. And I was curious, like what do you do, like, in terms of finding inspiration? Like, is there any particular things that kind of spark that?
It's all either about, you know, without getting too specific, it's either something to do with a relationship I've had, depression, or some sort of addiction issue. So it's
Yeah,
all of it's one of those three, or all three of them, and they're all based on something that's a personal experience. Yeah, that's where I draw inspiration
yeah,
for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was curious about, like, well, do you just listen to more music when you're trying to find inspiration, or, um,
Oh, I mean, yeah, that's just always happening because I'm just a fan. So
yeah,
I'm always excited when like I find something that like I can't stop listening to it. I might not write a song out of it or whatever, but I just still get excited when I find a piece of music that like gets me excited, and I want to just hear it again and hit repeat and hit repeat. Like I'm always looking for that for sure. Yeah. So
yeah,
I'm just gonna always be a fan. You know, I love watching music videos. I love watching live performances. I love, I'm always a fan, forever a fan, you know.
oh yeah, me too, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So what's your latest? Like, is there anything in particular that you've been like, yes?
Yeah. Um, Man, I always draw a blank when I, no, I've kind of been, I was listening to the new, I know this, God, this is not really, not as of lately. There was a few that like a few years ago, I found some random bands off like Instagram ads that came through when I was advertising. And like, so it started showing me like similar electronic bands. And there's this band called Chief that's really good out of Long Beach. There's one called Thrill Chaser that's really cool. Churches was a big one for me for a minute, but they're not like new anymore really. But as of lately, nah, I've just been kind of, I usually just kind of, I don't know, recycle through something I've liked at one point and then go back. You know what I mean? Who knows?
Yeah,
A lot of
yeah,
a lot of hair metal, a lot of 80s stuff, a lot of old favorites, and if like an older band like maybe puts out a new record, I'll check it. I don't check it out. It changes all the time. Who knows?
yeah,
Um,
yeah. I think this is the thing I love about YouTube too, is that you can like get to watch like live shows of artists that aren't even around anymore. So
yeah,
yeah,
YouTube is great. It's awesome. It's
yeah,
like this. It's just you can search it and most likely it's going to be there, and it's like because it used to just be MTV and you'd have to wait and hope you'd see the video you liked, and now you can just go find it and it's there. It is. You can just play it.
yeah,
Yeah, it's great.
yeah,
Love that. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I know we were talking about like the Julian K. I think actually we were talking about Julian K. And I was like, I've never actually gotten to see Julian K. So they're gonna be playing with Aesthetic Perfection and Priest pretty soon. So
Yeah.
I'm going to that.
Okay. I'm pro- I I'm gonna attempt to go, but Ryan was he was actually singing for the last Powerman tour I did in 2019. Ryan was singing for a demo, so that was really cool because I got to actually meet him, and I bugged him. I was like, he actually sang on one of the first singles I put out with Raygun Romance, like way back, like 2020, 2019. And I bugged him. I was like, dude, I'm a huge fan. I'm a total nerd. I'm like, you're gonna sing it. You're gonna sing on one of these songs. And he was nice as hell about it. But anyhow, but so yeah. So I've been a Julian K fan. They're awesome. Especially their first like few records are just super super like big inspirations for me. And they're still going strong. And they're like, yeah, they're great. Priest is great. Aesthetic Perfection, definitely a huge influence for sure. Love that band. And Daniel Graves, he again was one of those guys I hit up and just randomly sent me back a track, and it's obviously got the most amount of plays on Spotify because he actually has an audience. But that was I don't even know the guy. I've never. He just did it, and so yeah, thank you Daniel Graves again for that because big influence for sure. That'll be a good show. Yeah.
I'm excited. Yeah, I chatted with Daniel several Sundays ago, and when I was actually listening to all of your music, I was like, "Oh, that's so cool! It's such a small world that you guys did a track together." And
Yeah.
yeah,
Which is so nice of him because he didn't. I think that I used to usually not. I tried not to ever like drop the Powerman name, but I did in that one because I knew I might be able to get him because I didn't know him at all. I was like, all right, if anything's gonna hook this guy, it's gonna be this, and he did it, and he asked for nothing and was just nice about it, and yeah, and to this day, it still gets a lot of plays because his audience is he's got a big following. So yeah, super nice of him to do that, especially since he doesn't know me at all. And then it's funny, real quick, we played Orgy played Dark Force Fest last year, and a set of Perfection played like right before us. And I saw them sound checking. And I was too nervous and like weird to like say hello to Dan. I saw him like tweaking with his gear, and I was like, he probably doesn't even fucking remember who I am. I didn't say anything to him. So, anyways, see, I'm still a fanboy.
oh, I understand. I really do. Yeah. Sometimes when you meet people in person, it's totally different.
Yeah,
So yes,
yeah. And I was like,
yes.
that was years ago. I'm like, yeah, he's got probably fucking no idea who I am anymore. But anyhow, yeah, thank you, Daniel Graves, and yeah, and Julian, check out Julian K for sure because they are like, you know, I haven't been as up to date on their current stuff, but their first like few albums, first two, three, especially, really, really, really good stuff. Like some of my, just awesome. Yeah.
I really love that your catalog in Raygun just alone, and I feel like you've brought in collaborators, and then you yourself have been like a voice. So I think it's really cool that you've had this like dimension in this journey as you've gone in, and then settling into like you being the person that's actually doing all the singing.
Yeah, yeah. It was a weird the way it worked out and how it wound up where it is now. Definitely didn't see it coming at all, at all. But it's been really, really cool, and I'm again very fortunate, and it's been exciting because it opened up this whole, like I said, this whole chapter of something that I just did not see coming at all. Even with mixing and stuff, and like making videos, and singing again, all things I'd only just had like, man, I wish I could do that. I want to do that, and have been able to make it kind of happen on my with minimal tools and you know I'm proud of it. I'm proud of the results. Yeah, so it's been very, very cool, very, very exciting. Yeah, fun.
I think that's such an inspiration. I was wondering if you might share any advice for a person just starting out. Like they're like, okay, I want to start a project.
I would just say, especially when somebody's like, "Oh, I just started playing guitar. What should I do?" I would just say, "Man, you just play and do what you love and do it because you love it, and like you will put in the time if you if you really want to do it, you'll put in the time. But if you're just doing it and you kind of like it or you're not sure what I mean, you'll know because if you want to do it bad enough, you'll do it and you'll put in the time. But like put all the time and energy you possibly can into it, but only do it because you want to and you love it. And yeah, that's the purest thing. That's the only advice I could give. I mean, there's no real like. There's so many different ways to do music and make it or whatever. And like,
Yeah,
man, I'm the last person to give advice to anybody, but like, just do it because you love it. Do what you love and do it because you love it. Yeah, that's what I would say. And
I love that.
put in the time. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 I really love that you say too that if you love it, you'll know it. Like
Oh
you
yeah.
will put. Yeah,
Yeah. No question. There's like you don't have to think about it. That's like when somebody's like, "Oh, I think I'm just in conversation throughout the years, whatever. Somebody's like, I think I'm going to try this, and it's like they're late in life, and I'm kind of like, they're still kind of searching, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not knocking by any means. I don't want to come across the wrong way, but like when you love something, Matt, you fucking know it. Like music was like immediate. Like I want to do this. Like this is it.
yeah.
Like, I was like in. all in. Like I didn't care if I made money. Like I just wanted to do it because it was like magical. I was like, this is, yeah, can't live without it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely. I feel like, and especially like when you've devoted yourself for years to something, like, you, of course you have to love it. Because otherwise, what are you doing? Why
yeah.
are you doing it?
How people do day jobs because they got to make a living, and I've done that too, and I'm still doing it. But
Yeah.
um, but I'd hit a point with music where I was getting. I'm not a young cat at this point anymore. I mean, but I'd hit a point where I've been trying and trying and trying, and like I'd kind of like I was like, I think it's just not going to happen, and I kind of gave up. Like in a sense, like I'm not going to be in the big band or like get to do these big shows that I always daydreamed about, and I kind of let go of it, and I genuinely had to like let go of it. I'm not making this up, and
Yeah.
like 6 months, maybe a year later, like that's when out of nowhere the Powerman thing happened, and 10 years later here I'm in LA. This is wild, so don't give up. Do it because you love it, you know.
I love that. That's very inspiring because, yeah, I mean, I feel like, yeah, gosh, when you were saying like I let go,
And
and
it did. It was
yeah,
like it was a dark time. It was not fun. I mean, I'm
yeah,
smiling now because this happened and it's not going to happen to everybody, but like
yeah.
I got lucky and I got fortunate, but like I did. I was like, fuck, it's just not going to happen. I know. And yeah, sorry to interrupt you. But yeah,
No, no,
oh, yeah.
yeah. I mean, gosh, like you said, like it's like 10 years later. I'm like you've not only played with Powerman, you played with Orgy, and you've had your own project. So
Yeah.
you know, yeah,
Yeah. I'm still, again, I it's surreal, and I look around, and sometimes now that I've been here a while, it's like I'm settled in, I'm used to it or whatever, but I still gotta look, just look around and go, wow, this I did not see this coming. Like holy shit, you did again ask me 10 years ago if I was gonna be where I was gonna be, I would not have said here doing this and having had these experiences. So I'm very, very fortunate.
yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, I love that. And I just love that, you just really never know where life will bring you.
Yeah.
Um, like you can end up on a plane to Alaska playing music.
Dude, yeah. Late in the game too. Like a lot of my friends had bands that were, that we all started jamming around the same time, but like they started getting out and getting gigs and locally and where I grew up in Santa Cruz, and getting in bands that were winning like the battle of the bands, and like I was still just in my bedroom, man. I wasn't doing shit. I mean, I was playing and I was practicing, but I was watching from the sidelines, and like I didn't have a band. I was like trying to do my own thing, and that was hard. And so it's a trip how certain things can work out, certain paths for certain people. And you never know. Yeah,
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 yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Um, Phoenix says just keep swimming.
Thank,
Yes, absolutely.
thank you.
Yes. Um, Dark Realm GM is saying it's hard to live by the thought because once you are signed to a label, it's all about the life that it holds, and you tend to forget that it's all about the music.
I can't. That one I can't. That's a whole different thing because I'm always just been an independent artist. I'm
Hmm.
not. I haven't been tied to anything, so I can't. If you were to speak to say Spider or Jay Gordon, like those guys could speak. They were part of that big machine, and like at that level of popularity where like it's a machine. It's like, and there is a big label behind it, and it's all that. So yeah, I haven't had that experience, but I'm sure it's a totally different world when you get to that level. I'm sure of it. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. I really like that you have like been forging your own path. You know?
Yeah, something like that. I'm just winging it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, it's like you talk to different artists, like, you were mentioning people that have been on labels, people that are independent. And I think the universal thing is really this, it comes down to the music. It really does.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, yes. That's a tough one for me to 100%. Yeah, if your music, I mean, there's a lot of crappy music out there that gets really popular. I mean, I mean, that's just, let's face it, that's just how it is. But I think good music, you know, stuff that it'll find an audience. I That's what I like to think. It
Yeah.
finds its audience, and people find it. If that makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you were mentioning, some of the inspiration for your music that you've written, and it's deep topics, that's
yeah,
personal, and I think it's really like something that I love about music is that you really never know who you can connect with and who you can help, by merit of being able to share your own, expression in that.
yeah, and 100%. Like I'm just sort of trying to recreate what music, the bands that inspired me. Like I'm looking at that, at what, I listen to those lyrics and I can relate to them, and I'm like, man, that inspires me to try to express myself in that same way. And like, I'm not trying to help anybody out. I'm just trying to express myself in the most like sincere way that like maybe hopefully somebody can relate to it. It makes sense to somebody else. But
Yeah.
most just trying to put stuff out there that's pure and that comes from the heart. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think with songs that feel like it carries that fire of like this is my honest to gosh way I'm feeling.
Oh yeah.
There's those to me are some of the most powerful songs.
Of course. Yeah, for sure. And
Yeah,
it's kind of sometimes I'm a little like, oh man, like I don't know. You're like, should I be, this personal with certain things? And because you never know who's going to decipher what way or whatever. So sometimes it's a little, you know, I get a little, not shy, but just how it'll come across to somebody. But fuck it, man. This is how I'm feeling. I'm putting it out there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. I can understand that. Sometimes you're just like, oh man, I don't want to say that. Well, I guess I have to say that because that's what the song is calling for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you like I know every song can be different, but do you sometimes feel like there's certain words that come to you first before the melodies? Like is there sometimes like certain words that are looping?
Um, I'm still figuring that out. I've had
Yeah.
where like it came, I kind of just, I usually will, there's been a couple where I heard the melody and everything before I heard the whole thing, like the chorus section in my head out of nowhere. And I was like, got to get that down. That's very rare. That's only happened maybe a couple times. Otherwise, I either start writing some stuff or I start creating like an instrumental track, and then as I'm going, I'm building lyrics around it, and then I kind of just wind up on a chorus, and then I got to create a chorus, to go along with what I've built up to that point. So yeah, it's all still just I don't have like a super set game plan. It's just you know I'm winging it kind of
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
unless it lands on my head, and then I'm like, oh my god, got to get that down. You know what I mean, kind of thing. Yeah, yeah,
Totally.
yeah.
Yeah. Which those can be gems. It's amazing when those
Oh,
happen when you're like, "Oh, it's a download. It's all coming out."
yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
I wish that happened more. Like, can I have more of those, please?
Yes.
like, yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
We're getting Blare Out Productions photo is saying, Ty, what up, homie?
Hey,
Yes.
thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.
Yes. Wonderful to see you. Yeah. No, I really love the whole process and I love hearing about other people's process because everyone is so different with the way you approach like writing.
Yeah, yeah, that's it, and again, that's why I'm always following or just interested to see. Like, I'm still a fan, so I'm following my favorite artists and always trying to like kind of like, especially with social media now, you get to see so much content. You can just kind of like pick, from behind the scenes, sort of like pick someone's brain a little bit without asking them direct questions. You're kind of like, all right, let's see how they did that there. Like, you can pick up little things here and there, and so that part of it is really cool, for
Yeah.
as a fan. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really cool and like especially when you play different instruments because I feel like it really does change the timbre of like, how things come out and how things end up, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And with the guitar, like it was totally different. Like it just the two different worlds for me. Like playing guitar and Raygun Romance are there's like no correlation. I mean, there was a little bit of bleed through with it in the beginning, but now it just feels like two totally different worlds. And like
Yeah.
I'm more excited to work on putting together like a Raygun track than trying to write a guitar riff as of lately. Like it's been that way
Hmm.
for a while now, but as long as I'm still creative, then that's what matters. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You mentioned with Raygun like kind of envisioning like an alternate world. I was curious if you have any like almost cinematic or like brewing visual ideas like with the tracks, like if you're thinking of any music videos or anything of the sort.
Um, not. I mean, some kind of the videos I've done already. Like I basically just once I did the first one, you know, I just did. They're all just done with my iPhone and like
Hmm.
a partner and like at the first time I did it, I was kind of like really skeptical. I'm like, I just it's gonna look amateur hour and like this. And I had some spider from Powerman said, dude, just use your phone. He's like, trust me. And then another guy from the Powerman crew was like, get this app and it'll help it look more like like a. He's like, trust me, it'll make it look way better. It did. So that getting that first one under my belt. I didn't have a vision. I just knew had to look professional. I was like, I don't want it to look like homemade, like
Yeah.
And there were certain things that I'd see in certain videos from indie bands. I'd just be like, nope, can't do that. So once I kind of did one, I was like, okay. Then I started looking on like Peer. I found Peerspace. I'm sure you know Peerspace, maybe.
Hmm. Yeah.
You can find studios, and you can rent like spaces, and there's a bunch of sets that people have used for videos. And I just started picking them. I'm like, I just started going through and being like, well, that looks cool. Let's just go shoot. I just rent it and hope for the best. And so far, it's worked out. But like, um, I don't necessarily have like a specific thing in mind. I mean, there's just certain vibes I know I want,
Hmm.
um, and color schemes, and kind of just certain vibes. And I can't tell you exactly what all those are, but I can tell you if like I see something I don't like, I can definitely be like, no, that won't work. You know what I mean? So that's yeah. I just kind of wing it and try to find the vibe I like, and then go in and just shoot and hope for the best. Edit and yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd
It's
love
like
to get.
a
I'd love to get more production behind it. It's just, but like I said, it's just me and maybe one other person shooting. So it's like I got to kind of like do the best, with what I got, kind of thing. Yeah,
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 absolutely. Well, I think it just goes back to again like making use of the tools that you have in front of you, you
yeah,
know?
yeah. And I just like the two newer songs I got. Like one I'd like to put out next. It's the newest one. It's a recent song. I'm kind of struggling with like I'm like, okay, what can I do that's not just a repeat of something I've done before, so I'm kind of in that process at the moment. And I'm drawing up some blanks at the moment, but stay tuned because we'll figure something out. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what you come up with. I'm excited to hear the new songs too.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll,
Yeah, it's
they're coming. They're coming. It just give it a. I gotta hammer out some details, but they're coming. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. I think, it's going back to again like taking the time for your process. Like I think if you're gonna do something, it's like, well, what is the saying? Do if you're gonna do something, do it right. So take
Yeah,
the time, right? Take the time you need.
yeah, and again, it's that like we are talking about earlier, like the pressure thing. I get that weird thing in my head where I'm like, oh, you haven't put anything out, you better hurry up. And I'm like,
Mm.
well, no, you know what? It's like, yeah, I got to kind of just stop letting that be so loud. And just like you said, just kind of when the right thing comes along, I'll know, and it'll spark, and it'll happen. So, yeah, but I also don't want it to take too long. Like I want to kind of get it going. So yeah.
It's such a bike, isn't it? Where you're like, okay, how much pressure do I put on myself, right?
Especially because the songs are done. They're just sitting on deck, and I'm like, I just have to get like artwork and video figured out, and then I can start, get the release date figured out, and then I can hit go, and then I can pedal full speed. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's all such a process too. Like, it's like, gosh, I mean, you were talking not because you were doing the mixing, right? You were doing all
Yeah.
the mixing.
So there's the first, yes. So the full album I did Between the Lines. I did all the mixing, and I put out some singles where there's a couple on YouTube where I did the whole thing, like the math. It was my first stab at it. It was like, and it's I did basically everything on it. But then when you go and listen to it on Spotify or whatever, like that Between the Lines album, everything is mixed by me, but it's mastered by David Nazi, who's like ace. And then the EP, last time EP, is all same thing, mixed by me and then mastered by him. And moving forward, the same thing with these two new singles. It's mixing it, but he's mastering it because like I just got to have somebody else's professional, better than me ear on it at least. Yeah.
Yeah, it really does help, and especially like, um, gosh, you can get really into the forest when you're in the mixing
Oh,
process, I think.
oh boy. Yeah, yeah. And I just sort of again I dove into all those things like all kind of at once out of necessity because it was like I didn't have the money to keep throwing it, you know, a mixing and mastering engineer that I mean I wanted to and the video thing I kind of did it all at once and singing, so I was kind of like I was tweaking it, and like I remember doing so many bounces of so many mixes and going to my car and then my the stereo, and then like the T, wherever I could hear it, and like listening to it over and finding that always just be something wrong with it, or the kick wouldn't be, I mean, yeah, it's a process, man. It takes a minute.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, and it does, it really does help to have like an outside ear perspective.
Oh
Have
yeah.
you noticed that like when you play music for other people, it changes? Like you're like, "Oh, I didn't hear that." And they're in the room.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and that's part of the magic of somebody else's ear on it. They're like, oh man, you should have done this louder. And I was like, I thought that was already like really loud. Like, and they're like, no, you know what I mean? So yeah, yeah, like you said, you're so close to it, you kind of lose perspective sometimes. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's really an inspiration to, when you were talking about like, oh, I learned how to do this thing, and then I learned how to do this thing, and just being like, okay, what do I have, and how do I make it with what I have, you know?
Yeah, and it was exciting though too because, and this was like right in like 2020, nobody was working. It was like everything was closed, and like so I had all the time on my hands, to do it, and but it was like a big thing. I was like, and there was many a time where I started to do it, that first video or first song, and I was like, I don't know, man, this. I don't think I'm gonna pull this off. Like, who am I kidding? And I just toughed it out, and it landed it just enough to where I was like, okay, I can live with that. That's good. Let's try to top that kind of thing. So yeah, just kind of building on that initial momentum. Like, yeah, it's fortunately worked out. I got, if unless I'm kidding myself, but it's, I'm happy with it still. And I can look back on, even the first video I did, and I'm like, okay, all right. I'm not cringing, you know? So,
I like that you have like a certain thermometer. You're like, I'm not cringing, so it's okay.
Yeah, now, so it was, yeah, like I said, it was shooting the video,
Yeah.
then editing. Editing, that wasn't, I've been such a fan of videos for so long. I know what I like. I know what kind of cuts I like. I know what kind of, I just knew that was like not a problem. But I just knew what I liked. I like flashy, fast kind of, yeah, taking all that on there was many, many, many a moment where I was like, this is, this is not going to work. And I, yeah, I'm still doing it. And like it, and I feel like I've definitely gotten to a point, especially with mixing, where I can get it pretty darn close pretty quick, to where I used to have to like do it over and over and over. And I now I'm like, I kind of know what to use. And for me, I probably could mix somebody else's record. That's fine. I don't want to,
Yeah.
but if I can do my, like, I'm good. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah, which is huge. I mean, it's a lot to learn to like navigate the system. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. But
Yeah.
having that in your hands and being able to, not be um, waiting around for somebody else. And I hate to make that sound bad, but when you're like really in a creative zone and you're just it's all you think about all the time, and that's all you want to do, and you're just like chomping the bit to like, come on, man, I want to do this. I'm just waiting on you to do this thing so I can do the next thing. Like, that's where I just started to be like, I want to be able to just do it so I can do it on my own time, and like at my own pace. And so, yeah, again, yeah. So I was just so hungry to like do it, and I had the time. So yeah.
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 Yeah, and here you are with a body of work. So,
Which
that's
is,
awesome.
whether it's good or bad, I mean, that's up to whoever's listening. But I appreciate anyone out there giving it a listen, and watching videos and stuff. Yeah. So
So, where are your places that you prefer for people to connect with you? Is it mainly through Instagram, or do you have like preferred platforms?
I mean, I used to use Twitter all the time. I just don't really anymore. There are accounts for me on there. There's a Raygun one. I haven't. Don't follow it. Nobody engages with it. It's bullshit. But yeah, Instagram, Facebook, I'm the most active on. I don't have TikTok. I've really YouTube. I do all the music videos are on YouTube. I don't post a lot of like updates on there, but any music video that I've done is going to be on there, and as well as the music too. Spotify, Apple Music, any of the music platforms. That's all the music is there, and yeah, Instagram and Facebook are where I'm active. And my personal accounts are probably more active than the music account, but it's me running both of them. So you can look up
Yeah.
Raygun Romance or Ty Oliver, and yeah, it's me.
Well, like we were mentioning earlier, like I love that when you're following these, like you can actually really digest your work and really like, get to like experience the work when you're ready for it to be shared. So I like that, where you have like these completed things, and completed ideas.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, yeah. Anyone that wants to give it their time and attention, like I really, really, really appreciate it, and it means the world to me. So, and I noticed it. Yeah, it's me. I'm the one running it. Yeah. So great. All the support and follows appreciated. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, friends in the chat, thank you so much for hanging out with us and for your questions and Ty, thank you so much for taking the time and yeah.
Yeah. Of course. My pleasure. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it very, very much. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been really inspiring to get to hear not just about, your experiences with, your other bands that you've played with, but Raygun, like just hearing about like how you've gotten here.
I'm just, it's awesome to have somebody be interested in it and ask. So I appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, dear friends in the chat, thank y'all again, and we will see you for the next episode. But in the meantime, we hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and week, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you guys. Cheers. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.